Hello everybody, welcome back to Ashley's Glitter Factory. Today I am reading chapter 42 from the Grimrose Girls. Chapter 42 is called Yuki. It started with the snow and went downhill from there. Her body grew cold, her hands trembled. She kept them in her pockets because if she didn't, the surfaces she touched started freezing, and the water she touched would begin to frost. But that wasn't all. Yuki would catch glimpses of herself in the mirror. Sometimes she looked so quickly she didn't have time to register before she looked away, but other times it wouldn't be her at all. She'd be smaller, her eyes and cheeks rounder, or she'd be covered in white scars. Each time, though, she had skin as white as snow, hair as black as ebony, lips as red as blood. So she did her best to avoid reflective surfaces, avoid mirrors, avoid looking in the wrong direction, afraid of what she'd see there, and still, always, there was a strange power underneath her skin, ready to break free at any moment. The ritual had changed her. Yuki had gone in as herself, and she came out a shattered monster, rarely contained within her body, magic gluing her together. For that was what it was. Yuki had no other word for it. It was magic. At least with the book tucked away at the library, Yuki could pretend that her answers weren't connected to the book somehow, and worse that Irene knew that this would happen. Missing Irene had turned to blame him a growing resentment she'd left them with this mess, and was actually the lucky one. She'd left the clue behind and moved on to a better, easier place. Yuki was losing her composure. She was losing herself little by little. She stood outside in the gardens and she didn't shiver. Despite the encroaching winter, the green grass had turned almost brown. The trees had turned red, then yellow, then nothing at all, their branches twisting in their faithful reaching for the sky. The world grew colder each day with December, its color slowly fading, just like Yuki. She kept her hands to herself as she watched the Grimrose students sort out decorations for the winter ball. The decorations were still being brought in. Though half of the school was already lit up for the holidays, Yuki watched from her place in the gardens as they passed through the main gates, her hands trembling on her lap. "Are you sure it's comfortable to sit out in this cold?" a voice spoke behind her. Yuki turned around to see Penelope. She'd already changed to her winter uniform, with wool socks and a big overcoat, a blue scarf tied around her neck, her blonde hair falling over it. "I like the cold," Yuki said, hiding her fingers in her pockets. "I hate it," Penelope muttered, adjusting her coat to sit down. "I can't wait for summer." Yuki scoffed. Penelope looked sideways at her. "Haven't seen you around much," she said. "You look like I haven't slept in a week." "I was going to say, hey, like shit." Yuki laughed and her lungs contracted like she was trying to control all of it, keep it in. Yuki had years of his experience. If magic thought it was going to burst out of her and live freely, it had to think again. Yuki had put on a mask early in life and she never learned to take it off. "What's wrong?" Penelope asked. "Nothing," Yuki replied. "It's finals." This time it was Penelope who scoffed. "Right, you can give that answer to everybody else, but not me." "You think I'm lying?" "I'd spent enough time with you to know." Yuki's trembling fingers kept gnawing at her edges, willing for her to do something, to let that nervousness out, but Yuki kept it in, kept her fear, her anger locked up tight. "And what do you know about me?" Yuki asked, raising her chin. "I know everything about you, Yuki," Penelope said. And then Yuki had to laugh, because she didn't think anyone in the entire world would ever know what that was like. "No, you don't," Yuki replied, getting up. But Penelope was faster, pulling her hand away, holding her in place, the same way she'd done on the first day, except this time she didn't let go. "You do what others want, what others expect," Penelope said, "and you're scared to death that if you stop doing what everybody wants you to do, they're going to leave you behind." Yuki stopped in her tracks. "I know what it's like to pretend to be someone you're not. The way you hide from others, the way you never tell them what you're really feeling because you're scared they're going to stop thinking. They're going to think you're terrible. Stop. Your friends don't even know you. You hide from them like you hide from yourself. Stop, Penelope. Have you even told them what you said to Irene? That maybe you were the one that made her? Stop!" The word hung in the air like an echo, and in that word, Yuki saw what she had done. Penelope looked around, wonder lighting up her eyes. Particles of icy shards hung around them like snowflakes, a bubble that had burst from within Yuki herself. Snowflakes like mirrors reflecting on surfaces before melting to the touch. This is, she breathed out. "This is magic." Yuki was too stunned to say anything, her hands trembling from the release she felt that moment she let her anger out. Her heart had calmed down like it was begging for this, and the magic settled around her like a warm cloak. The magic that came out as soon as she let any emotion show. "How?" Penelope asked, looking up at Yuki. Yuki wanted to tell someone, not the girls who had turned this into some big conspiracy. She wanted the truth to be what it was. "I don't know," Yuki replied. "It has to do with Ari's death, I think." Penelope's eyes flashed, concern lining her face. "Ari was saying weird things to me," Penelope confessed. biting her lower lip. Speaking in riddles, she kept going on about you're going to think that this is silly, but she talked about fairy tales? Yuki completed for her. Penelope nodded, grave. I don't know what she was really on about, Penelope said. She thought we were under some kind of curse, and that's one of the last things she said to me. Irene believed that? Yuki asked, her gut twisting. I think so, Penelope agreed. She reached out to touch a mirrored snowflake with her fingers, awe still in her eyes. I thought she was going crazy, talking about deaths and curses and magic. I thought she'd flipped. But now you don't. Now I think she might have been onto something, Penelope said, her eyes turning from the snowflakes hovering in the air around them. Maybe we are cursed. This isn't normal. And you think believing in a curse is normal? Penelope shrugged. You're the one doing magic, sweetheart. Yuki shook her head vehemently, ignoring the sarcasm in Penelope's voice. I don't want this. I don't know what it is, but I don't want it. I can't have it. Penelope looked up at her again, kindness in her eyes. Did you tell them? Yuki's silence was an answer enough. I understand, Penelope said, hiding what you really are, who you really are, but you're scared of what will happen if they find out. Believe me, I know. Her voice sounded truthful, almost hurt. But you can't let that fear stop you, she continued, because then everything that happens will only be an illusion. My friends know me, Yuki said instead, hoping that somehow it was true that her friends would know, despite all of it, despite her hiding, despite her fear, despite her desperate, crumbling loneliness, because I am. You're not Ella, Penelope snapped, her voice harsher. You're not some boring goody two-shoes. Don't talk that way about her, Yuki snapped, her voice ice cold. You don't know her. Penelope met her stare. Fine, but you're not her. You want to be like her because everybody loves her, and you want everyone to love you too, but you're not her, and you're never going to be. Yuki felt the tears prickling in the back of her eyes, but she didn't let them fall, didn't let Penelope see that weakness. People may love you, Penelope said finally, but it's not real love if they don't know who you are. I don't think anyone will ever really know me, Yuki murmured. I want to, Penelope replied. Let all of it out, your anger, your fear. This world is pretty messed up already. It can take the weight of your feeling. What if I do? What if I only find out I'm terrible? Yuki had always known it from deep inside. It was the thing she saw when she looked in the mirror, the part of her who craved the pain, who craved things Yuki could not name, and who was always going to be reprimanded for it. Yuki had tried shaping herself like Ella, because otherwise she'd be giving into that darkness, and she didn't know how much longer she could take. Who even gets to define what terrible is, Penelope replied. That's just a thing to stop you from becoming who you're meant to be, because the world is scared of girls who know what they want. Penelope reached out and squeezed Yuki's hand, the magic still hanging around them, stinging in the air. Find something and make it yours. Make it true. You deserve that. That's the girl I want to know. And if other people can't love you for what you are, then they don't deserve you at all. Okay, everybody, that was the end of chapter 42. Bye!